Quarantine, Day 4, Thursday, March 19th.
To help flatten the curve, the CDC recommends washing your hands quite often. Typically, after you use the toilet, after coughing, before eating, after sneezing, and a few other things. Today, Elijah went to the bathroom 6 times, coughed 8 times more than that. He ate 2/3 as many times as he coughed, and he sneezed 1/2 as much as he ate. How many times did Elijah wash his hands in all?
What up, everybody? My quarantine people, thank you for joining us for another episode, our fourth installment of Quarantine Math. Hopefully you guys are taking this serious and really washing your hands. This is a really important problem to talk about because it is very important to be washing your hands and not just washing them, but washing them correctly. So please Google how you're supposed to wash your hands if you haven't done it yet, because there is a certain way that is really going to help people stay safe and get healthy, and so we can get back to school as soon as possible, right? So as always, let's get to the math. We know that we love our sides check word problem strategy here at Quarantine Math. And so our first part is our statement, right? So our question was, how many times do you wash your hands in all? So the statement's going to say, you wash your hands blank times in all. Okay, so when we go back, we're watching the video, we're looking for anything about how many times you're washing your hands. And then at the end, we know because it's saying in all, we're going to have to bring something together. Now that could be addition or multiplication, but we're going to be bringing something together. The things you would have identified, there was a lot of different things to identify. So let me get a different color. And you're looking for anything about washing your hands and the amount of times you would have to do that. And so it talked about different times you would want to wash your hand. And it said you're going to use the toilet 6 times. You're going to cough 8 times more than that, right? So basically 8 times the toilet, because that is talking about the sentence before. You are going to eat 2/3 as much as you cough. And when you're talking about a fraction and then saying the words as much as or as many as, that's really multiplicative comparison. It's not going to say times as many as because the number is actually going to be less, but it's the same thing as saying 5 times as much as, except with the fraction, you don't have to say the word times. So really what that's saying is not 2/3 plus what you eat, 2/3 times as much as you're going to eat, right? And cough. Okay, we all make mistakes. And then we're going to sneeze half as much as we eat, right? So half as much as we eat. So I see a lot of different multiplication and multiplication comparison, which leads me to think I'm going to be using a multiplicative comparison tape diagram. So now I need to develop my plan, okay? And I know that the first thing I'm going to do is that we use the toilet, okay? So I'm going to put a T here. And we use the toilet 6 times. We cough 8 times as much as that. So again, I'm going to use my multiplicative comparison model. And I know I'm going to do 8 groups as much as we use the toilet. Okay, so that's 4. And you want to make them equal because they're all 6. But, you know, we are human and sometimes it's hard to be neat. I like to say the hardest about 5th grade math or 4th grade math or really any math is just being neat. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I need one more group, okay, of 6. And now I know that I have coughed 8 groups of 6, which would be 8 times 6, which is 48. Okay, so that's how many times I coughed total. It was 8 times more than the toilet, which is 48. Now when you eat, this is where it gets fun, okay? So we're going to draw the tape diagram, the entire distance of the coughing, but we only eat 2/3 as much as that. So actually what we're going to do is we are going to split, okay? I'm gonna do my best. It might not be perfect, okay? We're going to split the coughing into groups of 3, And we want to know, okay, how much would I eat for that? So this entire tape diagram is equal to 48. And now we need to split it into three equal groups. So 48 divided by 3 is going to be 16. So each of these groups is going to be 16. And I ate two groups of that, which is going to be 32. So I've eaten 32, and then I'm going to sneeze half as much as I ate. So I'm going to draw my sneezing, okay, and the total part of this tape diagram is 32, but it was half as much as that, okay, so this is where my question mark is going to be, right here, and 32 divided into two equal groups would be 16. Now I know how many times I had to wash my hands when I used the toilet, when I coughed, right, when I ate, which wasn't 48, this was just to know how big the tape diagram was, it was 2/3 of 48, which is 32, and then when I sneezed, but my question didn't ask me how much when you ate, cough, sneeze. It said how many times in all. So I need a little bit more room here. So let me erase the important information first and then do a little bit of magic and drag this over. And now you want to know this whole thing and all of these together. So when you add them up, now what I would do is when I add them up, I'm going to cross them out. That way I know what I've added, especially because I have a couple different things. I know that 6 plus 48 is going to be 54, okay? And then I need to add my eating to that, which was 32, okay? That's going to give me 86. And then I need to add my 16 to that, which was my sneezing. And you had to wash your hands 102 times during the day. So you wash your hands 102 times in all. Now, that sounds crazy, but let's have a little health safety thing going on, right? Using the toilet 6 times is not unheard of. That's number one and number two. Don't skip it when you go number one, right? If you're sick and you have a cough, it's not unreasonable to think you cough 48 times a day. You should be coughing into the crook of your elbow, okay? But a lot of times we get our hands there. So that's not actually that crazy. Now, to eat 32 times, you think that's crazy because you're like, well, I only eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But how many times are you snacking throughout the day? How many times are you reaching into the jelly bowl bean now, or the jelly bean bowl now that's around Easter, right? It's not unreasonable to think when you add up all those times you're snacking or eating potato chips or um, actually, I guess that's all snacking, that 32 is not really that unreasonable, right? And then sneezing, again, if you have a cold or a cough already, or you have allergies, you definitely sneeze at least 16 times a day. So yeah, 102 seems like a lot of washing your hands, but it's really not that unreasonable if you think about it. Okay, maybe you should be washing your hands that many times. As always, please like and subscribe. We really appreciate it. Check us out for tomorrow on Friday for day 5 of quarantine math, and then we're going to take a break for the weekend and be back at it next Monday. But tune in tomorrow. We're going to have a great problem for you. Just like our question said today, wash your hands, don't touch your face. If you're sick, stay home. As always, be safe, do math. I'm out.